Hello and welcome to the final edition of the customization of your course shell, setting up your course shell to receive content. And in this last installment, we are going to be looking at setting up a content area within your course. As you know, your course sandbox comes with two content areas, the syllabus and assignments. If you wanted to add an additional content area, you can use the plus icon, content area, to create a new one. You can also rename the content areas that you currently have, syllabus and assignment, if you wanted to rename assignments, for example, to course materials. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use this assignments area, and I have an empty folder here, and we're going to be looking at these menus across the top. So the Build Content menu provides you with links to add pretty much any type of content that you can think of. Item and file are going to allow you to attach documents as well as write instructions or even write your own content within Blackboard. You have the option to also add audio files for those of you who might create podcasts. You can insert images, video, and web links. These would be your URLs. These items on the bottom are very specialized content items. I would not recommend that you use them. They're more complicated to insert, and they're also not as accessible as some of the other items, content types from this menu. So I would recommend to you that you avoid using learning module, lesson plan, and syllabus. However, if you'd like to experiment with them, by all means, maybe you can teach me something. You also have the option to add content folders. In our off course, I use the content folders to create the weekly folders, which are set up in our course materials area. You can also add a module page here. That would be that home page with the module links, the to-do, the announcement module. That's what a module page is. You can also add a blank page. If you think back to our last tutorial, I created a welcome blank page. So that's kind of what that would look like. And finally, the last three items you have are what Blackboard calls mashups. So it's reaching out to other web applications and pulling in material. Flickr is going to be a photo site where you can go and pull photographs of different topics, different areas of the world to help illustrate your material. SlideShare is where people will post their PowerPoint presentations. It's a great resource. You can actually upload your own PowerPoints, or you can search the PowerPoints of other people. And then YouTube. So if you wanted to add a YouTube video to your content area, you can actually search YouTube from within Blackboard by using this link. So I'm going to add an item here. This is probably the tool that you'll use the most. And we will call this our syllabus, just as a test. I can include instructions here, such as download the syllabus and bring to class, or please review before our first class meeting time or our first discussion, seeing this is an online course. Down below, I can actually browse my computer and attach a file. So just to see what that looks like, I will pull something off of my desktop. I have a file with notes, so I will attach that. So I'm going to allow users to view this content. I'm also going to track the number of views. Now, tracking the number of views means that it's tracking the number of clicks. So if I were simply writing something in the text box above, there's nothing for the students to click, so it doesn't have anything to track. But because I have attached a document, there is something that the students can click on, and therefore it should track whether students click on it or not. and give you statistics of which students clicked on the document. Now you can't say that they read it or not, but at least you know that they clicked on it. I'm going to just set the display after and display until dates. So the display after means that this item will actually appear, we'll say tomorrow, the 8th, at 8 a.m. And you want to make sure that you check these boxes in front. A lot of times people will set the dates but forget to check the box. And if you don't check the box, you haven't turned the tool on. And display until the 10th, at the end of the day, which is 11:59. So go ahead and submit this item. And you can see that the icon associated with this item is grayed out. That indicates that the item is not available for students to view. You can also see that the item is not available by looking at the availability. It gives you a time and day when the item will become available. So if I were to turn the edit mode off, the students would not be able to see the item that I just added. The other item within this menu that I wanted to cover with you was the content folder. As I said, this is how I set up the weekly folders in our Online Faculty Fellows course. I like to change the color of these, of the titles associated with the folders to make it look like a link. So I'm going to set this to a brighter blue so it looks like something that you should be clicking on. I can give a description here of the week, so we'll say June 8th through the 14th. I'm going to permit my users to see it. I'm going to track the number of views, and I'm not going to use the display after or display until because I want them to see it now. So here's my folder. The statistics tracking is enabled, and the information that I wrote in that box is visible for students. And you can see the difference in the two icons here. The grayed out icon associated with the syllabus because it's not available, and the bright icon associated with the week, which is actually available. So anything you add to your course in this way is easy to edit, delete, move, copy. You again want to use that chevron icon to make any changes to an item. So here we see I can edit this item, which is going to open up the page that we used to actually create it. I can also copy this item if I wanted to create something very similar. I do this with the weekly checklists, so everything looks the same. I will make a copy of that weekly checklist and drop it into every weekly folder. I can also move and delete this item. And I actually want this syllabus to be in the week 1 folder, so I'm going to select move. And it's going to allow me to browse this course or another course if I wanted to. And I'm going to select that week 1 folder in the assignments area. Click submit. And now within, here's my week 1 folder, and within that folder should be my syllabus. So that is all I really wanted to cover underneath the Build Content drop-down menu. If you have questions about any of the other items in here, I'd be happy to walk through them with you. They're fairly self-explanatory after you select them, but if you have questions about size of images, size of videos, if you decide to use a learning module and want to walk through it, I would be happy to do so. The next tool under this menu is your assessments tool. This is where you're going to go to create your tests, surveys, assignments, which is, some of you might remember the Dropbox where students actually go to submit things into Blackboard, self and peer assessment, Safe Assign, which is a text copying or text matching program, and then McGraw-Hill assignments is actually turned on in this course as well. Any of the options under this assessment drop-down menu are going to, when you create them, they are also going to create a column in the Grade Center. In order to see the students' submissions, the students' tests, you're going to locate that column that was created in the Grade Center, and that's where you're going to actually see their submissions and how they did on their tests or their submissions to a survey. We'll talk in more detail about the various assessments available in Blackboard, how you use them, and how you work within the Grade Center later in this course. The third drop-down menu is your Tools menu. This is where you would go to create a link to the discussion board, blogs, journals. If you use a wiki like we have in our online Faculty Fellows course in order to sign up for things, this is where you would go to create that link button to that area. And every tool that's available within your Blackboard course is also listed under this Tools menu. It doesn't physically add the tool to this content area, but it creates a link to it. And then finally, for those of you who are using publisher content, this is where you could go to create links to various publisher content from Wiley Plus, McGraw-Hill, and Pearson's MyLab. So that's a quick overview of our course content area and the various types of content, as well as touching a little bit on the assessments and the various interactive tools that are available within Blackboard. Your goal for this week is to create and flesh out your course structure. So you're going to be customizing your menu, thinking about the tools that you might use in your course, and adding those to your course menu or to your content areas. If you're going to be using weekly folders, set those up now so you have a framework in which you can begin to build and add the content of your course. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please post them in the questions or just suggestions discussion forum, and Kim and I will be happy to answer them. If you would like to come in and get a step-by-step tutorial on anything that I've covered in any of these recordings, we are more than happy to help you and available to help you at any time. Otherwise, we will see you online.